The goldenrod, this is the last flower they really go to before the winter. We're about to go into Rosh Hashanah, and we can't have honey without bees. We can't have apples or honey without bees. They'll go to these flowers and they suck back the nectar. They have a long, long tongue. They suck back the nectar like it's a straw, and then they fly back to those hives and they kind of regurgitate it back into the hive, and then they pass it from one bee to another until it eventually makes its way into one of those hexagonal cells. They'll put the nectar into one of those cells, and then a bunch of worker bees will come around and they'll start fanning the cells. And they fan down that nectar until they've evaporated it enough that they feel like it's honey. We realize, wow, this is just a great example of how to show why as Jews we have a responsibility to take care of the planet, not only for our own rituals, but in order to maintain our traditions, we need to have a healthy ecosystem. So you see them flying in, and they're either bringing in nectar and or pollen. On the backs of their legs are these orange balls, piece of pollen that they pick up from the flowers. And that serves multiple purposes. For the bees, the pollen is their main source of protein. But for the flowers, when a bee flies from one flower to another, it will spread pollen, and that's how plants reproduce. So bees and flowers are in this very intimate relationship because bees enable flowers to reproduce and flowers feed the bees. Bees are so responsible for our food system. They bring us like more than 90 of the crops that we eat through that process of pollination, through spreading pollen. We realized everything we do, from like planting all those flowers, which like go on and on and on, to harvesting the honey, is done in community. So yeah, so these get filled up with honey, and then when they come in from the apiary, these are all capped with wax. So first we uncap them. So the whole floor was covered with tarps and everything was very sticky, and then we put them in this machine and we spin it, and this machine spins the honey out of the frames, and then it collects and it drips down through here into a 5-gallon bucket. And then we pour it into these jars and label it and put this tag on, and it goes to market. People flock to us, they love our honey. Jewish beekeepers having this bee sanctuary, creating habitat to have healthy bees, and also then harvesting and selling honey, it makes sense to people Jewishly. And we believe that as Jews we have a responsibility to keep the planet functioning so we can have a world for future generations.